Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at, well, the performance of the build of the week, the Defenders of Justice, in Super Battle Road and Esbr. And specifically we've chosen the Superclass Esbr. Now Defenders of Justice did actually get their own SBR stage. Comparative to all the other stages and things like that, they did actually get their own stage, so they technically do have their own one that they can do. But personally speaking, I found that it was best, at least for me, to do the Superclass ESBR. I don't know, I just found it hit harder. It was a bit of a better stage. Now in terms of everything else, in terms of like, just the team and the build and everything, obviously something that's very important in terms of performance is understanding that the team only has one lead. So you can use a full Dragon Ball Heroes team to kind of counteract this, but I personally am trying to focus on using at least mixed teams. I don't really want the Defenders of Justice builds to reflect just a Dragon Ball Heroes build, because that's its own thing entirely. So it's nice to mesh the two. Now obviously Videl, as I mentioned in my video, is technically the only like unit that leads Defenders of Justice, which is kind of an issue, at least, like in terms of anything else, it's a little bit of a problem. So yeah, but beyond that, I think most players shouldn't have like a massive issue with building a Defenders of Justice team, as majority of their really good units are honestly like free to play in a sense. So majority of them are like super duper solid free to play units. Things like Great Sandman 1 and 2 LR. You see I'm using the Int Great Sandman, who's also a fantastic free to play unit. But yeah, they're a very utilitarian team. Like I don't even know if that's the right term, but they basically just have a lot of utility, a lot of support, a lot of everything, just a whole bunch of stuff. And yeah, basically speaking, they support each other well, they debuff the opposition well, but they can lack in damage, which is the only real downside to them functioning as a team. Like ultimately at the end of the day, it's their only real kind of negative is that to run as a team, they realistically speaking, struggle, because as a team they don't necessarily have like the craziest damage dealers. They have damage dealers, they're just not necessarily the most insane damage dealers. I think if you have Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, I think you then have a much better functional team from a damage dealing perspective. But I think beyond that, there's not a huge, like massive, big damage dealing unit. There's not like a massive unit that just shucks out big damage. Beyond those two, I don't think there's anything that's necessarily super duper current outside of them. I think they're a whole bunch of good units, but I think we need a new lead. I think we also need some strong performances. I think we need some strong like easy A's. We need some good general banner units. Units like Jacko do help for some reason. Like I think overall they do help, and I think like they're good to give context and to just give like in general very strong like support to the Defenders of Justice category. But I would say overall They need a lot more than that to bring the category like up to speed. Now they do very well in ESBR and SBR because they have a lot of stunning, a lot of seals, a lot of things of such nature. But what they do lack, they definitely perform a lot better against extreme units. At least, units like the Great Sailmans, like the Yakos, all that sort of stuff. They tend to perform way better against extreme units than they do against super. And this is kind of a poison chalice because, especially when you look at, like, for example, this stage, the super class one, the first phase was against extreme units, so it's like great for us. And the second one is just not against extreme units at all, so then it's not great for us. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because you end up like losing a lot of efficiency in these situations where you can't, really take on like the units. You can't really like take on all extreme units all the time, and this limits your team performance a little bit. Doesn't make it terrible, but it does limit it a little bit. Like I said though, you do have some really strong overall performers. Units like Android 17 after his recent EZA. We also have Great Saiyaman 1 and 2. Their EZA is very solid. They're a very good unit. So yeah, you do have a lot of good fun options. It's just the real question, at least from my side, is how do you bring all these options together without being built or centered around the Great Saiyaman 1 and 2. And there's a lot of good diversity to this team. You can use Universe 11 units, you can use the Great Saiyaman 1, 2 kind of units. You can use crossover units like the DB Heroes ones. You can use Videl. You can use Gamma 1, Gamma 2 type of units. So there's really good units. It's just that maybe it's just a little bit difficult to bring all of those units together as well as you'd like to. But they're still very good, and the team itself is still a lot of fun to run. I think a lot of players will enjoy running it, and yeah, for me at least, it's a very fun team to run, and I do enjoy it. I think it's fun, it's diverse, the different characters makes it a lot of fun, makes it very interesting, and I think overall most players will enjoy running this team. I can't say that it's a all-dominant team. It's not a team that's going to ace Red Zone, especially if you don't have the flagship or top tier characters, but it's definitely a team that's fun to use. And for things like SBR, ESBR, Fighting Legend Goku, there's a lot of good free-to-play options to use here. There's a lot of good, like summonable options to use here. So yeah, I would say overall the team is a lot of fun to put together, and is a really good, fun team to put together. So I would definitely say that if you haven't tried it, give it a try. I don't think you'll be disappointed. I think you'll have a good time. I think you'll be pretty happy with the team, and I think you'll come to really enjoy it. I think it's a team that grows. It grows on people. I think it's grown on me, like in general. And yeah, I do enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, and it's relatively simple to put together. You don't have to put a lot of effort into it. It's just a fun team, and yeah, there's no stress, there's no like synergy problems. All the units link up pretty well because of the key, because of the support. Just a very good functioning team. But yeah, that's basically going to be it for me. I think we've seen enough of their performance, so yeah, doing really well. No items used so far. Really solid, and yeah, see you next time. Bye.